Just thinking about like the past 10 years of at least of my life at least, and just looking at, you know, what's the like big lesson learned? Or, like what hardship that I have to endure that that is really memorable to me. And I remember I was kind of thinking, you know, like 5 years ago, whenever I moved out of South Carolina. But I remember at the time I had at that point in my career, was making the most money I had ever made. I had all the things because I'm a simple individual. I don't require
Balling.
much.
He was balling.
And and I had as far as like compensation and what like material wise, I had really everything that I wanted. And I had worked pretty hard to get to that point. But in that moment, I realized when I had all this stuff, there really wasn't a lot of stuff. The particular things that I wanted, I had it. Like wasn't an issue for me. But what I realized in that moment was that all the work that I put in, all the time, the effort, the sacrifice that I put in was that I lived like where I want. I didn't want to live in the city that I lived in, but as far as my living arrangements and like as far as the location, the type of place I lived in, like I was living where I wanted to live. And I had all the things that I wanted to have, but I was really unhappy. And I realized in that moment, and why this was important to mission, is that when you kind of look back on that, it's like, well, I thought that material things and having all the things that I always wanted were going to make me happy. And then when I had it, I realized I wasn't. And realizing that, it kind of pushed me on the path to really wanting to be free. And that's when, sparked the idea for starting my business and doing all those things and all the hurdles and things that ensued after that, as far as relocation and all those things. But really, at that point, that was really the pivot from me going to an employee to really trying to do something for myself so I can be free. Like that was a pivotal moment for me. And I'll sign off on the struggle that led up to that point. I'm not there yet, but I'll give, up to that point, I get at a pass. That was essential for my development because I wouldn't be here where I was at. And I definitely wouldn't have my own business if I didn't get fed up with certain things as far as employment is concerned. And also if things didn't transpire in a way in which I realized how little control I have because I work for somebody else. On top of having everything that I wanted, I needed to shed the materialistic part of me had to die for me to be kind of where I'm at today.
Yep, Stone.